How did Hypixel go from this to whatever the f this is? Back in 2012, before Hypixel was a server, it was this dude, and his name was Simon. Simon, who went by Hypixel online, was a prolific map maker and was actually the guy who made Herobrine's Mansion, believe it or not. He and his business partner Felipe, that can't be right.
Felipe.
Okay. He and Felipe regularly posted teasers of their maps to YouTube, but Simon especially found immediate success. Within 4 months, he'd reached 50,000 subscribers, and mind you, this was in 2012. The most subscribed channel is the Gangnam Style guy with like 600k, so 50k was a lot. With the success of his videos, his fans naturally wanted a place to discuss his creations, so he decided to launch the Hypixel forums. Okay, different song, this one's gonna get me claimed. The forum had a problem though. Post after post, people were complaining about how frustrating these maps were to set up. This was 2012, people were stupid, but Simon needed some way to make these more accessible, and his solution? To launch the Hypixel server. In 2013, when the server launched in beta, it was intended to just host Simon's maps. Minigames were included, but only as sort of something on the side. Obviously, this was a strange strategy, and it became clear that most players preferred the minigames over the actual point of the server. And so the development shifted, leading to some of the earliest hits like Blitz survival games and TNT Run. The server was seeing some decent growth at this point, and finding your friends amongst the crowd was a challenge.
Wanna play the server I found called Hypixel?
Yeah, sure. Oh. Where the f is this bitch? How does anybody even find each other on here?
Well, because Hypixel has a new feature, introducing /party, the perfect feature for you and your online buddies to play together.
No. The party system meant bringing your friends was actually viable, and it showed in the numbers, because shortly after, it broke 10,000 concurrent players. Growth like this was unheard of, even now. Like, this does not happen anymore. But like any new company, during Hypixel's insane growth, they weren't making enough money to sustain themselves much longer. Up until this point, Hypixel was funded almost entirely by one $20 rank. Unlike today though, ranks were very unfair. Like, the $20 rank offered double in-game coins, and then they added MVP and MVP Plus for, respectively, $100 and $150 each. But no matter how obnoxious that price was, for a while, the revenue from kids with rich parents was enough to keep the server going. Then Hypixel's corporate overlord snatched them up like a cockroach in a tornado, only to be aggressively forced into an industrial blender and pulverized into a disgusting concoction. In other words, Mojang updated their EULA. Hypixel was forced to remove everything that could possibly be considered pay to win. Rank prices also had to be slashed, but to make up for it, Hypixel added a bunch of other random bullshit to make people pay for it. They had to scale their operation back a bit, but unlike other servers at the time, they implemented their pricing changes and went on to grow even faster than before. And that's due to a variety of factors, like the addition of Build Battle, YouTube Rank, which we'll talk a little more about later. But most importantly, a new silly little game called SkyWars. SkyWars began what my researcher calls modern Hypixel, or in other words, it totally revolutionized the server. Its simple and fast-paced gameplay was an instant success, with probably at least half of Hypixel's players on it at all times. It also showed the admins how much players love PvP, and as you'll see later, that became a theme on the server for the next few years. Ranked SkyWars was added too, tracking people's performance and making the already competitive game even more cutthroat. But of course, when the stakes are this high, people are bound to find ways to cheat the system.
Hot diggity dog, this is awesome. Who are you?
You bitch. Another one gone. Amen. Whoop whoop.
Hypixel's furry anti-cheat was added to combat the ever-growing problem of cheaters, and ever since, the Hypixel admins and hacked client developers have been 1v1ing. Hacked clients are always evolving to bypass the anti-cheat, but the anti-cheat keeps evolving to prevent them. Funny that. Realistically though, the hacker problem won't ever truly be over. But let's move on, since in the grand scheme of things, hackers really aren't that important. YouTube rank, on the other hand, may not seem like a big deal, but I'd argue is one of the driving factors behind Hypixel's success. See, YouTube rank is something pretty much everyone wants, and because of that, so many people who never otherwise start creating videos got their start making them on Hypixel. And that means Hypixel had nearly unlimited free promo from thousands of videos on their server. Speaking of YouTube rank, I'm actually getting pretty close to it, and if you could subscribe, it would mean a lot, especially since I noticed after switching to making documentary videos, I don't gain anywhere near as many subscribers. Anyways, YouTube rank may have been a smart addition, but Hypixel was far from the only server innovating. During this time, the multiplayer community was dominated by 3 main servers, with the other 2 being Mineplex and the Hive. And things continued like this for a while. But Hypixel was ruthless at what they did, and the Hive could not keep up, leading them to eventually shut down on Java Edition. Mineplex was so bad at managing their server that they recently shut down completely on both editions. That means Hypixel was left alone, free to prosper and develop into the server they are today. Mineplex is supposedly planning to come back though, so I guess we'll see how that goes. During all that craziness, Hypixel's lower ranking staff were generally unbothered by it, instead spending their time singing. They made a weekly event for them and their friends to peacefully partake in karaoke together.
Remember the taste of my lips, my lips.
Damn! I'll check back on them later though, hopefully nothing bad happens, because Hypixel was about to add duels and Bedwars. These games solidified the server's reputation as the #1 place to PvP, and for a while it worked great for them. They got very comfortable in their position, however, to the point where they were completely blindsided by a new threat. Minecraft was dying! From 2015 to 2019, Minecraft wasn't very popular with the youth. I talk about that a little more in my last video, which, might I add, will be available on the end screen. To try and escape the decline Minecraft was currently facing, they began working on a standalone game called Hytale. Even before the game came out, people thought it looked really cool, but after the release... What? It's still not out? 8 f***ing years later? Well, I'm sure Hypixel's working on some other projects, right?
Hey guys, we're launching Hypixel on Bedrock Edition.
Woo!
Actually, we made the decision to shut it down.
Why?
But we're going to launch Hypixel China instead. We can reach a whole new audience where Minecraft is banned.
Wait, so far you said you're making Hytale, we've got nothing. Then you said you make a Bedrock server and you just shut it down. Why should I believe this is gonna work either?
Yeah, you're right. We're shutting this one down too.
While Hypixel is f***ing around over in China, someone there decided to eat a bat. You may be wondering, SkyBoi, why is the music so happy? Because I stole Jet's music folder? No, but it's happy because for Hypixel, the deadly coronavirus spreading across the planet was awesome. I know what you're thinking, and yes, Hypixel started COVID because they knew once people were forced to quarantine, their player count would skyrocket. And to be fair, it worked. Hypixel, but especially Bedwars and SkyWars, were incredibly popular during lockdown. And since more players meant more competition, people were improving at PvP fast. New strategies began to form, like TNT jumping and ladder clutching. They're common now, but back then, it was about as crazy as me listening to any music that isn't dubstep. Another big thing was bridging. Since both Bedwars and SkyWars relied on bridging across the void, entire servers were made to practice the best ways to do it. I remember one called MC Play HD, where originally it was just to help people improve their bridging for Bedwars, but now speedrunning the fastest bridging methods is a pastime of its own for some people. But even with all these awesome advancements in the community, there was a dark side too. Besides the obvious issues of hackers I mentioned earlier, toxicity was at an all-time high. There was doxing, death threats, and lots of the N-word being thrown around. I remember watching a video about these organized hackers who'd target specific YouTubers until they got paid to leave them alone. All these problems were naturally worse in ranked SkyWars, the most competitive game on the server. It got so bad that it was actually removed, and even the people who played it generally agreed it was the right thing to do. YouTubers were getting exposed for doing the same sort of shit too, like it wasn't just the fans. I'm gonna name drop someone fairly small because it's like a perfect example. This is Strobed. His channel is built on exposing people, mostly pedos, and then later it comes out that he's racist and transphobic.
Literally, black people are fucking demons. I don't hate them as long as they live in Africa. I think trannies and gays are...
If he just used the F slur too, it would have been 3 for 3. Basically, everyone sucked, dude. Another big problem in the community was the culture of e-dating. Personally, I'm of the opinion that long-distance relationships are fine if you do them responsibly. You're free to disagree, I don't really care. But I think we can all agree that the culture of e-dating on Hypixel and in the Minecraft community is generally really weird. The most famous example is Tenebris, who was exposed for hitting on 14-year-old Angelicat when he was 19. The e-dating culminated in a website being created called Bedwars Tinder. It's shut down now, but if anyone makes a new version, you know where to find me. They claimed it was to find a teammate, but like, come on.
I can't wait to go on Bedwars Tinder. Oh my god, her skin is so cute. An absolute goddess.
While all of this ick was happening in Bedwars, Hypixel was working on a totally new game that would shake the multiplayer community to its core. And to fully explain that, I'll be bringing in a familiar face who witnessed it from the start. Don't ask how I managed to get Tommy in it in my video. I don't fucking know either.
Hey, yes, it's me, Tommy in it. Oh, hello. All right, let's get into this. On the 11th of June, 2019, Skyblock was released to the prototype lobby. Suddenly, the definition of what the Hypixel server was had changed overnight. Before this, you know, look, you'd hop onto Hypixel for a few hours to play Bedwars or SkyWars, but you'd never spend a full day gaming unless you were, like, really lonely. Unless you were, like, f***ing Time Dio. It thrived on the success of multiplayer Minecraft, which was making a bigger comeback than ever. Dude, it was a fully fledged MMO inside the Hypixel server. Look, you could even get people to come to your little island. You could kill them with a trap. You could kill people. It was mental. They managed to turn the most minimalistic Minecraft game, Skyblock, into just the opposite. This game was so vast, so massive. It allowed all different types of content creators to thrive. On one hand, you had Technoblade, you know, making these insane, innovative stories where he'd spend days, weeks completing some stupid fucking goal. And on the other hand, you had, you know, me, you know, just using this as a canvas to piss around and scam people. Let's get a bit serious here. To anyone who I scammed a few years ago, fuck you, bitch! You got What, do you think I was gonna say sorry? No! You're an idiot, mate, alright? I got you! Gradually, though, as the months went by, most creators transitioned away to other types of Minecraft content. SMPs were slowly coming back, and personally, I used all the Skyblock hype I had to wiggle my way into SMP Earth. Now, from this point on, I don't really know what happened.
Well, one thing was Skyblock players getting infected with malware. So that's fun. Malicious mods circulated around the community, which became even worse when Hypixel made the game pay to win. I know that's when a lot of people stopped paying attention to it. These days, people have gotten so paranoid that when I started this video, I asked a bunch of people in the lobby to send me a recording of something, and the only response I got was a warning not to download files from strangers. So clearly Skyblock's been on a bit of a decline. Other than that though, what is Hypixel like now? Well, the all-time peak player count was 216,000, and now it averages about 40,000. Why is that?
As Minecraft resurged and making more generic content in the game was just a way to win YouTube, the biggest creators moved away from Skyblock and all the Hypixel genres. And with that, the server's popularity began to dwindle.
There's a great video by Mixtunes which makes a good point. When you search up Minecraft on YouTube, Hypixel videos don't even show up anymore. The only way to find them is if you already know about the server, which makes it almost impossible for Hypixel to attract any sort of new audience.
The question you have to ask now is, was Skyblock the peak for Hypixel? My honest answer, I just don't know. But here's what I do know. Every episode in Technoblade's Potato War series to this day outranks every Dream SMP video he's made by at least 7 million views. Without Skyblock, without Hypixel, none of the Minecraft creators you watch today could have the platform they do. Without Skyblock, there is no way I would have hit 10 million subscribers and had all of this.
So where does that leave us? Hypixel was a huge part of my life as I was growing up, and it honestly served as my introduction to the wider Minecraft community. I have so many fond memories of making friends just by randomly stumbling across someone cool in Bedwars. And obviously, I'm nearly an adult now, and I don't feel quite the same enjoyment from it as I used to, but I think that's okay. Let me tell you a story. When I was in 7th grade, I didn't have many friends at school. I was self-conscious, I was bullied, and it was an awful period of my life. But online, it was a completely different story. I could enjoy Minecraft, and not only was I not made fun of for it, there were other people who liked it too. If you're anything like me, Hypixel was pretty important to your life for a while, and whether or not I can recall anything super specific, I know every single encounter, every new friend I met, shaped me into the young man I am today. Alright, I know this probably isn't what you want to hear, but YouTube rank is something I've dreamed of since I found Hypixel, and I didn't think I, of all people, could ever achieve something like it. So, please subscribe. I'm sorry. This is a very heavy ending to the video, but I hope you have a great rest of your day. Oh, I almost forgot. What happened to Hypixel Karaoke? It ended.